ladies. Again, my name is John Paris, the chair of the Asian American Group's endorsement panel. And on behalf of myself, Mike Vaswani, our president, and our executive vice president, Kevin Fung, we greatly appreciate you taking time out of your schedule today to join us for the general election endorsement interviews. Seated on my right is Daniele Monroe. She is running for the vacant seat in State Assembly District 1. On the left side of the camera is Irene, who is the incumbent in Assembly District 42, correct?
That's correct.
The Assembly District 42. Irene, I know you've interviewed with us in the past, and Danielle, I think this is the first time we're meeting. Just to give you a little background on the Asian American Group, or the AAG, we've been in existence for over 20 years now. We somewhat have been serving as a penumbra organization for the numerous disparate Asian organizations throughout the Las Vegas Valley, trying to give more unity or more of a voice and a presence to those various groups. Mike has been our president for the last several years. For the past 8 years, we have been conducting panel-style interviews such as this for primary and general elections, from United States Senate races all the way down to local municipal races. It's our goal to give voters a little more background, a little more information on the candidates, so they can learn more and make more informed decisions about the political process, and perhaps we encourage them to participate a little bit more, which is why we're videotaping these, and we'll be posting the videos on the internet probably sometime tonight, if not sometime tomorrow. All that having been said, we're here to learn about you guys, not the other way around. And so we're going to ask a series of questions, and we'll just rotate back and forth between the two of you. We'll start with Danielle. Danielle, why have you decided to run for this particular race at this particular time?
At this particular time, I've considered running for office for a long time. I've been involved in local politics since 2008, but I grew up in a family that was very active. My mom was an advocate for family and children's rights. My father, a veteran, was a voter registrar and local in his union once he got out of the military. So politics was just something that was a norm to me. When I moved to Las Vegas, I myself got involved with employee issues within the city of North Las Vegas, my former employer. And I knew that I wanted to run for office because there's a lot that you can do at a grassroots level, but you can be so much more of an advocate for your community at a legislative level, where you're actually being a policymakers working actively with those grassroots organizations to move your community forward. So the seat of Assembly District 1 was formerly held by Marilyn Kirkpatrick, who was term limited. And it just so happened that she accepted the position of county commissioner, leaving the seat open. I was at an age and a time in my career that I could retire and do this full time. My youngest child is 19, so I wouldn't be taking time away from my children during their formative years, so I could be a full-time legislator. It seemed the right time for me in my life. The position was available, and with my work in the community for the last 22 years, it was the next step of service. So.
And Irene, obviously you've been in the incumbent since 2010, correct?
That's correct.
Kind of silly to ask you why you're running, but we still do ask everyone that same question. Why are you running this time?
I appreciate that. Well, when I made the decision, the recession was at its peak here in the state of Nevada, high unemployment rate. In my own cul-de-sac in my neighborhood, several of the homes were up for sale. People were losing their jobs, and honestly, that was the #1 thing that prompted me to run and to do my part. So I did something similar like Danielle, where after 20 years, left my corporate job with MGM Resorts International, so that I could focus on being a legislator full-time, even though it's only part-time work. And so every session, we put into place things to help Nevada diversify its economy, to get back moving in the right direction. And every session there's something new, and so I'm running for my fourth term to be able to continue the great work that we're doing as a group.
Irene, I'll ask you the next question, and then obviously give Danielle a chance to respond. I mean, you were up there up in the legislature when a a bill somewhat similar to HB 2 out of North Carolina was passed, the bathroom bill, so to speak. What metrics do you use to try and determine how to balance the rights of individuals who are on both sides of a very polarizing issue, who both feel very passionately that their viewpoint on bathroom bill type issues is correct?
Well, that particular bill was in judiciary, which I don't sit on. My committees are in commerce and labor, taxation, ways and means, so more on the money side. So I never got to hear the testimony. However, in order to deliberate in any of the bills that I take into consideration, one, I do hear feedback from my constituents and try to see where they stand. I also look to other community groups and ask them for their feedback, all the way from the Latin Chamber, the Urban Chamber, how does it affect small businesses, the Asian Chamber, things of that nature, to weigh some of the options. And then just in general, my own moral compass, where do I stand, and try to figure out what is fact and what is just based on emotion. And that's generally the process I take in order to make a decision.
Okay. Danielle, same question.
Same question. Well, I haven't been there yet. However, I think would be my job as the elected official representing District 1 to first talk to my constituents and see what the temperament is of my constituents about a bill, no matter what that bill is that comes up. And then see how it would do research on how it has, if that bill has gone into place in other communities and the positive and negative effects it's had on those communities, and how it's going to affect our business communities, schools, and things here. I think it takes a lot of legwork, like Irene was saying, but at the end of the day, I have to make that vote, and that vote has to be balanced between what I personally believe, but weighted more on what the people that I represent want to see go forward.
You know, for the last, this has been a really weird election cycle. Not so much in your particular races, but from a more national scene. Obviously, Trump and Sanders really tapped into certain demographics that were underrepresented, or they felt they were unrepresented. What ideas do you have, if elected, to try and keep those individuals who feel that they've been disenfranchised by the government as a whole, to try and keep them more active in the political process and try and retain their interest in electing officials who have similar viewpoints as their own?
Well, I think it's reaching and community, keeping them engaged, inviting them into my campaign, the political process as a whole, but actually listening to them. And it starts first with communication, listening to them, finding out exactly what their needs, their concerns, and what they wanted to see going forward, and finding out why they got engaged. What was that one thing that touched their heart? I hear a lot at the doors, neither one of the candidates at the top moved me, where they've had presidential candidates in the past that they were passionate about. So finding out what their passion is, and it's like getting someone to volunteer for your campaign. I may need canvassers or I may need phone bakers, but finding out what that volunteer's passion is and putting them in place there. So finding out what their passion is, what they felt we were lacking in government, and asking people how they feel we can make it better. I don't have all the answers, but if people feel that they've been embraced and part of the process, then people will stay engaged. No matter what side of the aisle that they're on, they will stay engaged. And it's making sure that people feel included. So I think that's the best way to keep people engaged. So that's what we've been trying to do during my campaign, is reaching out to everyone, so that my committee has people from both sides of the Bernie's aisle, Hillary's aisle, but there's also Republicans on my committee to help me get elected, because at the end of the day, you represent everyone, and they have to feel that they are definitely part of and play an equal share in who you're representing. So I'm happy to say that I have people from all sides helping me with this campaign, and that they feel comfortable enough that they can talk to me and be a part of it moving forward. I don't have all the answers, so it's looking to them to make sure that we move forward, that everyone's issues are addressed.
I think Danielle hit it right on the head with listening. I know the interactions that I've gotten at the door is people want to meet with their representative, and maybe don't realize that we have full-time jobs during the day, and so we have to figure out ways where we can interact with them, either our lunch hour, after work, before 8 o'clock. But it's been that, listening to them, and they want to be heard. They want people to understand why they're frustrated, and then figure out how to solve it together. The people that I've interacted, the solutions seem to be more community involvement at the grassroots level, not large campaigns, but more what can I do within my own community, my own cul-de-sac, to bring people out and to get engaged. And I agree with Danielle that even those from the Republican Party, I have several volunteers coming today that happen to be Republican that don't feel like they have a voice, and they've chosen to volunteer for me and to get people out to register to vote. So I just think it comes down to listening and having a connection with your local elected official.
Kevin, I know you oftentimes have questions about education. I'm going to let you fire away.
Not education right now. But with all the things what's happening right now, especially with the ISIS, what have you, all over the place, on news all the time. People are afraid. Where do you stand once you represent the people of your district? Where do you stand on the gun rights?
Well, I mean, and I'm sorry to cut you off. In fairness, there's only so much that
No,
the state legislature can do.
Absolutely, but they're our voice. I think it's so important that you're talking to everybody all the time, and that issue is one of my concerns. Where that representing the people on behalf, and that where's your view on that?
Well, I know for me, we're a military family, and so my husband has served several combat tours, and so in our house, we do have a healthy respect for gun owners, because we are gun owners ourselves, and so safety is of the utmost importance. I know we have 2 young daughters that my husband has gone and taken to the range to practice and talked about safety and responsibility. And the general consensus that I've gotten back from my specific community in 42 is that they support question 1 as far as additional background checks for safety reasons. And so that's the consensus that I've gotten back. I know it's on the ballot and it's for the people to vote, but I know in my community that's been the feedback that I've received.
And I too, come from a military family, but I recently retired from the North Las Vegas Police Department as a corrections officer, so I am a gun owner. But I am definitely in favor of common sense gun reform. We know that there is no law that will be put in place that will save everyone, but we have to be responsible citizens and make sure that we close any loopholes that we can close. Like I said, I'm a gun owner. My children grew up in a police household with mom and dad working in law enforcement. So they too have had safety trainings with guns and things. So I'm all for families owning guns, but I believe that we have a responsibility as elected officials at local levels, national levels, that we make it as safe as possible so that guns do not end up in the hands of people that should not have guns. I understand we will not be able to correct everything that's out there. There's still, if people want to get guns, there's still going to be some ways they can, but we have a responsibility to make sure that we make it as difficult for people who should not have guns have them. And responsible gun owners have every right to have guns.
Good. Criminals gonna have it either way. So that's what makes our country strong. And I'm really happy that as a military background and what have you, I'm a big advocate on that. You may own a gun, I ran out of bullet, never pulled it yet, but that's our right. Thank you, appreciate it.
Mike, did you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Any other? Well then, why don't we finish with this, and we'll give each of you an opportunity to respond to this one.
Oh, I do have one more.
Let me stop talking right now. Kevin, yes.
Our bill is actually sitting at the Senate, and we will need your support once you're in the Senate section. And it is for November 12th, that is Asian Cultural Day. Okay, November 12th, and that is item 74. It's going to be voted by Senate and we'll need all your support. That will bring a tremendous economic value to our state. It is the first one in the country, and I honestly believe that's the only way to unite all Asians through culture, through education, and through arts. So please support that bill. Asian Culture
And
Day.
who's carrying it for you, Senate?
It's sponsored by
Scott Hammond.
Scott Hammond.
Okay.
And again, that's in the Senate, but, you know, very well may, hopefully, make its way across your respective desks, so, or whatever influence you may have regarding that. This has been a project that Kevin has championed for several years now, and we appreciate any assistance that can be provided to try and have November 12th be, I don't want to say renamed, but become a holiday of Asian Culture Day.
May I ask one question?
Please.
Why specifically November 12th? What is this?
November 12th is Dr. Sun's birthday. Dr. Sun is the first republic president of entire Asia that made the first republic country. And because of him, because of the action, he's a doctor, that the map of Asia have remained as the way it is. Otherwise, we're all speaking Japanese today. So, and that is significant as well as it is Veterans Day, right before November 11th. So a lot of our military people died at World War II. So, you know, we want something that's really happiness, and one day that all the Asians can bring out the essence of their culture. And that's the question that I've been asked every single Asian that I meet. What culture that you can tell your children to make them proud of who they are? And that is including all race. We're all inclusive, and that's what it's about. Any children that understand and are proud of who they are, you know, their ancestor and what have you, they're less likely to shame them. So they'll be, you know, be proud members instead. It's very difficult to see someone that's 50-year-old and still doing searching of who they are. I've seen that, and that's what it's about.
Anything else, Kevin?
And that's it. Thank you.
Want to make sure. I'm not quite sure whose turn it is, so I'll just start with Irene since I started with Danielle overall. Irene, give us 1 minute. Why are you the better candidate to be, well, re-elected to Assembly District 42?
Well, if you look at my legislative history, you'll see that I have a demonstrated record of being very practical, very common sense when I approach legislation that is not only good for District 42 but for the entire state. In addition, I represent all the Asian Business District up and down Spring Mountain, and I'm very proud of that. And even though the AAPI community may not live in my district, the businesses are. And so I feel that I'm the best representative because of my interaction with that community and wanting to make sure that they have a voice in the legislature.
Thank you. And Danielle?
The reason I feel that I'm the best candidate for Assembly District 1, one, I have lived in my district for 22 years. And if you look back at my history, I am a person who has worked across the aisle, bipartisan, and been active on a number of community and nonprofit events. My history is working with people in general. I believe my job is, although elected by the people in Assembly District 1, it's to represent the people of the state of Nevada. And I've spent my time during this campaign not only working within my local community and Clark County community and flying up to the Reno area to learn as much about the state so that on day one when I go into office, I don't go into it as a novice. Nevada is my adopted home, and the people of Nevada are my family, and we are an extremely diverse family. So just looking at the core of who we are as a family and the work I've done in the community, I believe makes me the better candidate for this seat.
Perfect. Well, before you go, two last things. First, we would love a photograph of each of you against our red carpet backdrop over there. Second, we'd like to invite you to our 13th annual AAG Awards Banquet. It's being held next Saturday night, the 24th, at Treasure Island. It'll be from 5:30 to 7 is cocktails, and then 7 till 9 is our main program. We are honoring 13 different individuals from various different areas of, within the Las Vegas Valley. Individuals who have given a great deal back to their community through charitable efforts, through providing medical services and things of that nature. But we would love to see you there. We anticipate there being somewhere between 400 to 450 people. So if you can stop by, please do. We would love to see you. Other than that, thank you very much for coming down here again. Just so you know, we will be releasing our endorsements by the end of the month. We will be having one last makeup session for individuals who could not appear on our weekend dates, and that's going to be on the 28th of this month, that Wednesday. But that's only going to be a few individuals, so we'll have all of our endorsements out probably by the end of that week. Good.
Well, if you're lucky enough to wrap this up early tonight, please join me for my birthday. We are celebrating my birthday at our campaign office. It's a Hawaiian luau. So it's at 3000 West End. So if you happen to wrap up early tonight, please come join us.
Well, I appreciate we all appreciate the offer. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Wasn't aware you were joining us on
Well,
on
I'm
a
celebrating
birthday.
the entire month. My birthday is actually the 21st, but we're celebrating the entire month.
Oh, well, in that case, I have no guilt about inviting you
See?
down on your birthday. So.
You should come to here. Tonight have a celebration for our members. 11 member birthday tonight.
Oh, really? Oh,
September's
wow.
a popular
Yeah,
month.
it's a good month. It's a good month.
January may have been even a more popular month,
I
shall we
know.
say.
Exactly.
So,
Well, thanks for having us.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you so much.